Title: I was busy every day, but my business was going nowhere. I used to think being busy meant I was doing something right. I run a small creative business from my flat in Birmingham, nothing fancy, just me, my laptop, and a phone full of client chats. On paper, I was self-employed and living the dream. But every day felt like a blur. I'd wake up to pings from WhatsApp, emails flagged as urgent, and a to-do list that somehow grew longer, not shorter. My mornings were spent putting out fires. A client's post needed rescheduling. My website glitched again. I hadn't sent out invoices, so cash flow was tight. And I still hadn't followed up on that promising lead from last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? By noon, I'd eaten breakfast standing up, half-written 3 emails, and was already behind. Afternoons weren't much better. I jumped between Canva designs, Instagram DMs, a missed delivery, a Zoom call where I pretended to take notes, and somewhere in the chaos, I convinced myself I was being productive. But let me be honest with you, I was just spinning. Every night, I crashed on the couch with my laptop still open. I couldn't remember what I'd actually accomplished. No new clients, no growth. Just a mountain of half-done work and a brain that wouldn't shut off. Friends would ask, "How's business?" And I'd smile through gritted teeth and say, "Busy." Because busy sounded better than stuck. I wore burnout like a badge. If I was exhausted, that meant I was working hard, right? If I was drowning in tasks, surely success was around the corner. But something didn't add up. I was working 10-12 hours a day and barely pulling in 200 pounds a month. And even that felt unstable. Some months, it dropped to 800 pounds. I was behind on my tax savings and dipping into overdraft more often than I wanted to admit. Worse, I had no time to think. No time to strategize or reflect. I was always doing but never deciding. Then one day, as I stared at my laptop with 14 tabs open and 0 progress made, it hit me. I wasn't running a business. I was stuck in a loop. Busy? Yes. Productive? Not really. Growing? Definitely not. I closed my laptop and said out loud, "There's got to be a better way." It was around 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday night. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, lights off, phone in hand, scrolling through my banking app like I was hoping for a miracle. 812.64. That was all I'd made this month. No upcoming invoices. One client had ghosted me completely. Another still needed to confirm the brief we'd discussed 2 weeks ago. I had £19.3 left in my personal account and just over 150 in the business one. My back was sore. My eyes stung from staring at a screen all day. My brain felt like mashed potatoes. And for what? I looked around my room. Laptop still open on the floor, half-drunk coffee mug on my desk, sticky notes covering the wall like they were trying to hold up the building. I was tired, so tired, but the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. I grabbed a notepad and, for the first time in a long time, I decided to write down everything I had done this week. Here's what the list looked like. Replied to 39 emails, designed 5 Canva graphics for a client who still hadn't paid. Posted 3 Instagram reels, edited a website banner I already changed last week. Wrote 2 blog drafts, not posted yet. Rescheduled a Zoom call twice. Watched 2 YouTube videos about growing a business. Spent 4 hours redesigning my logo. Spent another 2 hours making busy templates I never used. Forgot to send follow-up emails to 3 potential clients. Didn't touch my business plan or pricing sheet. Didn't reach out to a single new lead. I stared at the list, and the truth hit me like cold water. I was busy, constantly moving, constantly checking things off. But most of it wasn't helping my business grow. It was filler. Fluff. Work that felt good in the moment, but didn't get me any closer to where I wanted to be. I had convinced myself I was productive because I was tired, because my days were packed. But the results spoke louder. I wasn't making money. I wasn't scaling. I wasn't even clear on what success looked like anymore. And that's when I said it, quietly, to no one but myself. I wasn't running a business. I was running in circles. I didn't need a better logo. I needed a better system. I didn't need another Canva post. I needed clarity. I didn't need to work harder. I needed to work smarter. That night, I made a decision. This hustle for nothing loop, it had to end. I owed myself more than just exhaustion. I knew I had to change something. After that night sitting with 800 pounds in revenue and a mountain of digital clutter, I made a decision. I wasn't going to confuse motion with progress anymore. The very next morning, I tried something new. I opened my calendar and blocked out 2 hours, no distractions. I labeled it impact only. No emails, no admin, no client check-ins. Just me and the tasks that could actually grow the business: sales calls, pitching, product tweaks. At first, it felt wrong, like skipping class. Wasn't I supposed to be available all day to prove I was working? But I ignored that voice and made my first sales call in weeks. I pitched a proposal I'd been too tired to send. I even reviewed an old digital product and rewrote the landing page, all within 2 hours. That was Monday. On Tuesday, I did it again. This time, I emailed 3 cold leads, reached out to an old client with a follow-up offer, started a draft for a new service I'd been thinking about, but hadn't had time for. By Wednesday, I could feel the difference. Not in the bank account, not yet, but in my brain. I felt sharper. I wasn't chasing tasks. I was choosing them. The next step? I stopped saying yes to things that didn't build the business. A newsletter redesign? Postponed. Random Canva edits? Skipped. Meetings with no agenda? Declined. I gave every task a question. Does this drive revenue or results? If the answer wasn't yes, it went in the later folder. I also started using Notion, just a basic weekly planner at first. Then I added a sales tracker, a wins board, and a single view that showed my top priorities each day. It felt good to see my week on one clean dashboard. No more 27 sticky notes and 5 half-used notebooks. By the end of the first week, something wild happened. I rested on Saturday on purpose, not because I collapsed or guilt, scrolled into the void. I actually planned rest and earned it. And by the end of week 2, one of those cold emails turned into a discovery call. That led to a retainer client. An old client I followed up with, bought a new package. The product page I tweaked, got 3 new orders. I wasn't rich overnight, but I had momentum and clarity. I was finally working like a business owner. Not just reacting, not just surviving, building. It felt weird to do less, but it worked. I didn't become a millionaire overnight, but something bigger happened. I found peace. Now, I don't wake up and ask, what should I do today? I already know. My calendar is mapped out with purpose. I have 2 golden hours every morning, non-negotiable, where I work on what actually matters. No more reactive scrambling. No more answering emails just to feel productive. I'm no longer chasing every task, I'm chasing results. And slowly, those results showed up. My revenue went up. Clients started coming back not because I was cheaper, but because I delivered better, faster, and with more clarity. I wasn't stretched thin trying to please everyone anymore. I had boundaries. And those boundaries? They didn't scare good clients away. They earned their respect. One even said, I don't know what you've changed, but this new version of you, it's working. What changed? I stopped operating like a people-pleasing assistant in my own company. I stepped into the role of CEO. I started asking hard questions. What moves the needle? What can be automated? What's noise? I gave myself permission to do less but with more focus. Now, I review my week every Friday. I ask, what worked? What didn't? What's worth repeating? I track revenue. I look at what channels are converting. I plan based on data, not dopamine. And here's the wild part. I work fewer hours, but I rest better. I go for walks. I actually enjoy my weekends. I read again. I don't live in survival mode anymore. The mental fog? Gone. The Sunday dread? Gone. Even my friends noticed. One of them said, "You're glowing." And I laughed not because it was untrue, but because it felt so simple in hindsight. I stopped mistaking movement for momentum. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're building. Just because your calendar's full doesn't mean your business is growing. I used to wear burnout like a badge of honor. Now, I wear clarity. Sure, I still have bad days. I still get distracted. But I come back to the one truth that saved me. Results don't come from doing everything. They come from doing the right things on purpose. Looking back, I realize now I wasn't lazy. I wasn't dumb. I was just doing everything but the things that actually moved my business forward. I thought success meant always being busy, always being available, always chasing the next thing. But I was wrong. You can be busy and broke. You can hustle and still not grow. I had to learn the hard way that real success isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. When I finally stopped trying to look productive and focused on being effective, things shifted. Clients noticed. I stopped spinning my wheels and started seeing progress. Not just in revenue, but in peace of mind. I stopped saying yes to every idea, every task, every request. I gave myself permission to pause, to breathe, to ask, what will actually move the needle today? Now, my to-do list is shorter but sharper. My time is more protected. I take weekends off. I log out after work hours. And guess what? My business didn't collapse. It grew. And so did I. If your to-do list is full but your wallet's empty, it's time to rethink the game. Pause. Prioritize. Progress. Follow for more. Want more stories like this? Follow for real talk on business growth, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes truths no one else shares. Subscribe for more. Subscribe for weekly stories that help you grow smarter, not just harder. Real life moments, real lessons, real growth.